After 2026, these 7 cities could become the next over-tourism headlines. Right now, medieval castles without lines, coastal sunsets without cruise ships, and costs 40% below Paris. Here's your window. It's time to trade the usual European itinerary for something far more rewarding. Number 7. Ljubljana, Slovenia, Europe's green capital nobody expects. Ljubljana is simultaneously Europe's most sustainable city and its most overlooked capital. The city banned cars from its historic center back in 2008 and became the first EU capital with a zero-waste strategy. It's also refreshingly affordable, with daily expenses well below the region's average. Budget travelers can expect to spend 42 to 55 euros per day, while mid-range averages 98 to 119 euros, a fraction of what you'd pay in Paris or Amsterdam. Accommodation hits the same strong value range, from dorm beds at 15 to 33 euros to boutique stays like Hostel Selitsa, a former prison with artist-designed cells, starting around 42 euros for private rooms. Mid-range hotels typically run 50 to 100 euros per night. Old Town delivers castle and riverfront views, but after midnight, Metelkova Autonomous Zone evolves from old military barracks into Ljubljana's beating heart. This legal squat rivals Berlin's alternative districts. Galahala hosts concerts, Channel Zero spins underground techno, and 3 beers cost around 5 euros, a side of the city most mainstream guides miss. Just 3 bus stops from the center, Shishka district showcases ever-changing murals by the 1107 Clan Street art crew in its pedestrian underpasses. The Castle Vineyard on the hill remains virtually unknown, ideal for sunset drinks with the city spread below. Ljubljana's food scene is equally rewarding. Try dishes like Gronska klobasha, the EU-protected status sausage, or Strukli, monastery-style dumplings. Druga Violina employs people with disabilities and serves traditional Slovenian meals, including dessert, for less than a coffee back home. For a quick local snack, grab a burek, a flaky pastry filled with meat, cheese, or spinach, cheaper than a fast food combo and a perfect on-the-go taste of Slovenia. Next, a UNESCO city where you'll tap your phone for everything and pay half what Helsinki costs next door. Number 6. Tallinn, Estonia. Ancient walls, digital soul, and cruise-free neighborhoods. Tallinn offers the continent's most compelling contradiction, with a UNESCO World Heritage Old Town wrapped around the world's most advanced digital society. By day, you're surrounded by cutting-edge tech culture. By night, 700-year-old cobblestone streets and candlelit taverns. Over 115 cruise ships dock here annually, and by 10 a.m., more than 8,000 passengers spill into Old Town's narrow streets. If you're planning to explore the medieval center, go before 10 a.m. or after 5 p.m. to avoid the surge and keep the magic intact. The Helsinki comparison puts Tallinn's affordability in perspective. Daily expenses run about 121 euros versus 160 to 180 euros. Beer is also cheaper here, 3 to 7 euros compared to 8 to 12 euros. A 2-hour ferry links the cities with tickets from 10 to 15 euros if booked early. Where you stay stretches your budget further. Dorm beds cost 11 to 35 euros per night. Mid-range hotels run 40 to 100 euros, and staying in Kalamaya or Teleskivi, the neighborhoods locals actually use, keeps you under what a basic Helsinki hotel would charge. Step beyond the cruise ship circuit and Tallinn's true character emerges in Teleskivi Creative City. Once a cluster of Soviet warehouses and now Estonia's biggest creative hub, packed with studios, galleries, street art, flea markets, and top-tier bars and restaurants. While cruise ships dock at 10 a.m. and Old Town overflows with visitors, Teleskivi stays entirely cruise-free. Efhone anchors Teleskivi as the go-to place for affordable brunch and dinner, while Pudel pours craft beer in a relaxed local setting. The energy in both these places feels authentic because it truly is. Kalamaya surrounds Teleskivi with traditional wooden houses painted in pastels. Wander Valgevase, Kalju, and Kungla streets for the bohemian atmosphere that defined pre-war Tallinn. Balti Yama Torg, the 3-level market hall, serves the city's best street food on the ground floor. From this Baltic Edge city where centuries past meets digital, we're dropping south to a coastal gem that feels Italian but costs far less. Number 5. Porto, Portugal. Lisbon's moodier sibling most people only half explore. Lisbon got polished for tourists. Porto kept its rough edges and neighborhood grit. If you were to ask most locals, they would say that Lisbon is more international, while Porto is more traditionally Portuguese in culture and mindset. Porto's daily costs are cheaper too, and locals still outnumber tourists in most areas. Most visitors stick to Ribeira and Baixa, rush through port tastings, then leave having seen 30% of Porto. Cross Dom Luís Bridge into Vila Nova de Gaia, and everything changes. This side has rooftop terraces, wine lodges, and calmer lanes with better sunset views than anything in Ribeira. The Guindalense Football Club bar sits on a hill pouring beer and vino verde, with arguably the best bridge views in the city. The district's tourists skip are where Porto actually lives. Miragaia delivers colorful riverside streets and bars without Ribeia's chaos, while Sidofeta has become the city's trendy hub for independent shops, tavernas, and creative energy. At the river's mouth, Foz do Douro offers upscale beach bars, sunset cocktails, and relaxed seaside evenings. Porto's food scene is about much more than its famous francesinha sandwich, though it's absolutely worth trying. Almeza sources daily from farmers with a 3-dish weekday lunch and a lovely garden. O Caracas is the small family-run place near Paseo das Virtudes, where the menu rotates daily, and Adega São Nicolau is where Porto chefs eat when they're off duty. Nightlife centers on Galerias de Paris. This is not a single bar, but an entire street party. People spill onto sidewalks, music pours from doorways, and the energy doesn't start until 11:30 at night. Portuguese timing runs late, dinner reservations at 9:30 p.m., clubs filling after 1 a.m. Next up, Prague's architecture at 40% off, and a communist-era city frozen in the 1950s. Just a quick note before that, if you're mapping out your 2026 trip, subscribe. We drop a new Insider City Guide every week. Number 4. Kraków, Poland. Prague-level beauty at 40% less. Kraków delivers the same storybook look as Prague. Gothic spires, cobbled squares, and castle views, but with a gentler price tag. Expect mid-range daily expenses around 65 to 75 euros and budget travel from 30 to 40 euros per day. Restaurant meals tell the same story with a 3-course dinner costing 20 to 30 euros. Accommodation follows the same pattern. Hostels run 9 to 28 euros per night, while mid-range hotels cost 50 to 100 euros. Even boutique options like Hotel Stary start around 100 euros plus. What mid-range Prague charges? The savings add up fast. Understanding 4 districts unlocks the city. Old Town, or Stare Miasto, holds the essential sites. Wawel Castle, Main Square, and premium prices. It's great for first impressions, but not the only side worth seeing. Gacimierz, the Jewish quarter, became Krakow's hippest quarter. Vintage stores, brunch cafes, bars with real character. Plac Nowy anchors nightlife with zapiekanka stalls, half-baguette street snacks, available until dawn for around 3 euros. Podgórze, across the river, is Krakow's emerging hipster territory, where Schindler's factory now houses a fascinating museum, while Mozak anchors the contemporary art scene. Nearby, the Rainbow Stairs climb 55 colorful steps, and Krakow's Mound delivers sunset views over the whole district. Here, the pace slows down, the context deepens, and the selfie crowds thin out. Nowa Huta is the wild card, a socialist, realist, utopian city built in the 1950s, and one of only 2 such planned cities completed worldwide. Wide boulevards stretch between grand squares where communist-era architecture sits frozen in time. It's best experienced via vintage Trabant or Fiat car tours that bring the era back to life. Food-wise, milk bars, known in Polish as bar mleczny, are communist-era canteens still serving full meals for just 5 to 8 euros. These cultural institutions are disappearing, but spots like Milk Bar Mila and Polakowski self-service restaurant are still operating. Bring cash, expect no frills, and pay almost nothing for pierogi, Zurek sour rice soup and bread bowls, and traditional Polish comfort food. Polish bars and clubs have no mandated closing times, so nights can roll into breakfast if you want. Kazimierz supposedly has the highest density of bars in the world. Alchemia is the iconic candlelit spot with antiques and live music in the cellar. while Singer pioneered the area's aesthetic with sewing machine tables. Bialnia Wódki I Piwa pours vodka shots for just €1. Day trips define the region. Wieliczka salt mine goes 800 years back and 327 meters deep with an underground cathedral carved entirely from salt. Auschwitz-Birkenau lies 70 kilometers west and has free entry, but timed tickets are required, so book ahead. Another option is Zakopane, which opens the Tatra Mountains 2 hours south. From Poland's historic heart, we leap south to the Mediterranean, to Europe's tiniest capital where golden stone streets hide layers of history and cinematic charm. Number 3. Valletta, Malta, a golden stone capital hiding in plain sight. Valletta packs 300-plus monuments into 1 square kilometer, a UNESCO World Heritage Site with Europe's highest history per meter ratio. People go to Malta for resort pools and beaches, then barely step inside this fortified headland. That's the miss. The Knights of St. John built Valletta after their 1565 Great Siege victory, and the fortifications, bastions, and architecture they created remain largely intact. St. John's Co-Cathedral houses 2 Caravaggio masterpieces, including the beheading of St. John the Baptist, the only work he ever signed. Casa Rocca Piccola is the only privately owned palazzo open to the public, complete with a World War II bomb shelter in the garden. Malta offers a 40% film production rebate, making it Hollywood's go-to Mediterranean backlot. Fort Ricasoli served as the Colosseum in both Gladiator films and the Red Keep Gate in Game of Thrones. Fort Manuel was the Great Sept of Baylor, where Ned Stark was executed, and Mdina Gate was King's Landing's entrance. Spotting these locations adds a playful twist to wandering. Straight Street shifted from a World War II red light district, nicknamed the Gut by British and American sailors, into Valletta's nightlife heart. Today, it's a narrow, atmospheric lane filled with jazz, conversations, and character. Cafe Society builds itself as the wrong place for the right people. All neon lights and creative cocktails. A few steps away, Bridge Bar hosts live jazz on Fridays, while Yard 32 lines the bar with over 180 gins and 40 tonics. For a more intimate finish, Trabushu Wine Bar operates from a 400-year-old vault that feels made for slow evenings. Crowd-dodging strategy really matters here because Valletta sees heavy cruise traffic. Aim for Upper Baracca Gardens before 9:30 a.m. or head straight to the less crowded Lower Baracca instead. Book St. John's Co-Cathedral in advance because capacity limits kick in as soon as the ships dock. The 3 cities are located a 5-minute ferry ride away: Vittoriosa, Senleia, Cospicua. With old fortifications and authentic neighborhood life cruise passengers never reach. As you wander their back streets, grab a warm pastizzi, the classic flaky phyllo pastry with ricotta or pea filling that locals treat as a quick breakfast. If you're flying from the US, there's a big change coming. Delta starts the first direct route in June 2026, JFK to Malta, 3 times a week seasonally, so getting here suddenly becomes a whole lot easier for American travelers. From this golden stone fortress, let's jump to a Croatian coastal town that rivals Italy without the price tag. Number 2. Rovinj, Croatia. Adriatic magic off the beaten path. Rovinj captures the romance and coastal charm travelers often seek in Croatia, but with a more relaxed feel. Set on Istria's coast, its church-crowned peninsula, pastel waterfront buildings, and easygoing atmosphere make it one of the Adriatic's most inviting towns. The real story here? Istria produces white truffles that rival Piedmont quality at a fraction of Italian prices. Black truffles grow year-round, white truffles appear September through December. You can book truffle hunting experiences for around 60 to 70 euros, then sit down for a truffle-laced meal that would cost 3 times as much across the border in Italy. The region also makes what locals call the greenest olive oil in the world, with estates offering tastings throughout the peninsula. Pair that with Malvasia, the crisp local white wine, or Teran, a rich red, and you've got a food scene that punches way above its profile. For sunset, Mediterraneo Bar lays cushioned right on the rocks at sea level, and dolphins occasionally cruise by. Valentino Cocktail Bar keeps things a little dressier with champagne and wide-open views from its terrace over the water. On Tuesday and Thursday evenings, trade the shoreline for a batana boat ride on traditional wooden fishing boats. The experience includes bitinara, polyphonic folk music that fishermen used to perform, for about €13 per person. Day trips unlock the rest of Istria. Motovun is the hilltop historic town where truffle hunters are based. Pula has a Roman amphitheater better preserved than the Colosseum. And Limfjord cuts 10 kilometers inland and is lined with seafood restaurants immediately at the water's edge. American tourists haven't discovered Rovinj yet. Most visitors are German, Italian, and Austrian. That's the advantage right now. It still feels like a place locals use, not a monument to itself. From this Adriatic gem, we're heading to our number one pick, a subtropical island that feels nothing like mainland Europe and might completely reshape how you plan future trips. Number 1. Madeira, Portugal, Europe's subtropical adventure island. Madeira rises out of the Atlantic like something from another continent. Volcanic peaks hit 1,862 meters, waterfalls drop through laurel forests, and the temperature stays between 16 and 25 degrees Celsius year-round. Most people think it's just a resort stop. They're missing the entire point. The island has 2,500 kilometers of levadas, 500-year-old irrigation channels carved into the mountains. These channels created the world's most unique hiking system. You'll walk alongside flowing water through UNESCO-protected forest, past waterfalls, sometimes through tunnels cut directly through rock. The 25 Fontes Trail ends at a lagoon fed by 25 springs, while Carreraio Verde takes you through 5 tunnels to a 100-meter waterfall. And Ponta de São Lourenço delivers dramatic coastal views on the rocky eastern peninsula. Just bring water in a hat because there's zero shade. Ponta do Sol became the official digital nomad village in 2021, with free co-working space and an active Slack community. Over 7,500 people from 105 countries have registered. The scene hasn't hit Bali or Lisbon levels yet, and here's why you don't want to wait. Azores Airlines now flies direct from Toronto, New York, and Boston. So getting here just got a lot easier. Madeira is in that pre-boom sweet phase now, but by late 2026, that magical window starts to close. These 7 destinations sit in that sweet spot of value, atmosphere, and timing, helping you focus on the neighborhoods, bars, and viewpoints that matter rather than the overcrowded old towns. Swap at least one classic stop for one of these quiet all-stars in 2026, and you'll save money, dodge lines, and come home with stories most people haven't heard yet. Which city jumped to the top of your list? Tell us in the comments, and if you've already been to any of them, drop your best local tip so everyone can level up their plans. If you love exploring cities like an insider, join us for more weekly guides and transform your travels. You've just built the backbone of a smarter Europe trip. Now let Itinerary Insiders help you flesh it out. Check out our playlists in the description for dozens of multi-day guides around the world and ideas for chaining these destinations into one seamless route. The best trips aren't the most famous ones, they're the ones you plan with the right intel.